Another beautiful day, another purpose, journey, and story. I am so excited and honored to introduce Thomas Eckschmidt. Thomas, where are you from?
Well, I think I'm almost all over the place because my parents are from Austria. I grew up in Brazil. I'm in Miami, moving to Dallas. So that's kind of everywhere. And I worked in probably 15 different countries throughout my career.
Wow, so exciting. We've had a lot of guests, but especially really excited to hear about your journey and story because it is very connected to who I am and what I'm doing. So without any further ado, I would like you to go back to the moment or the day that you had that aha moment of, oh my gosh, this is my purpose. This is what I'm meant to be doing. And if you're
Mhm.
not clear on what that specific day was at that time, just bring us to the beginning. So go ahead, the floor is yours. Let us hear your journey and story.
Okay, so I think there were two key moments in my life. The first one, I started an entrepreneur career and we had a business. And one of the ideas was I was taking care of the international part of the business. And I said, I'm going to reach out to Whole Foods. They might understand what we do. So you look up who's Whole Foods, who's leading Whole Foods, John Mackey. So the first thing you get when you search about John Mackey at that time was he actually wrote an article about conscious capitalism. So I start reading that article and say, wow, purpose. We have a belief, we don't have a purpose. We believe that, collectively we can get better results. Stakeholder map. We don't have a stakeholder map. We have an extended value chain. We look at our customers. We look at our supplier, and just looking a little bit broader. So maybe almost there. Culture, no idea what that meant at that time. We were a startup with 4, 5, 6 people. We just thought that we were changing how farmers and growers were actually relating to the way they do business, taking some management metrics and systems back to them. And the following generation was coming back to work with them. So maybe that was something in regard to the culture. And leadership, that was totally different. No idea what that meant. But we were writing books, hacking conferences where farmers and growers were participating to share with them knowledge so they understood what we were doing and so they could buy from us. So we were actually inspiring our customers and bringing them closer to us so we can teach them to get better on what they do. So ultimately, when I read that and I made that match and say, oh my God, I'm an conscious capitalist because I live those 4 principles, just maybe not intentionally. And that brought me to this philosophy of conscious capitalism. A couple of years later, I sold the company because of difference in values with my partners. And I invited myself to the conference from Conscious Capitalism Conference, and I started learning a different language. And it took me a while to actually translate that to the level of consciousness of the different audiences for college degrees, for startups, for business people, for CEOs. And today I'm very clear because the more I spread that idea, stronger it gets for me because I can see people connecting with that idea. People are naturally entrepreneurs. People are not human resources. People are human with resources. And once you put those resources in action, you become an entrepreneur, an intrapreneur inside a business, or an entrepreneur outside going after what you think you can do better. And when you look at entrepreneurs, anyone who has a big company started as a small business, they always believe they can do something better. Behind that idea, that's a purpose. You have to understand the stakeholder map, everybody who affects your business and you affect that you have the ability to affect with your presence. You create a culture and you lead that change in the space where you're operating. So that got me some, anxiety because I said, I have to do this faster. And I clearly started articulating my purpose, and that's an invitation I do. Write it down so you can update it and improve it and polish it and make it better, clear for yourself. So today I have a clear purpose: accelerate the upgrade of leaders and their organization. To do that, I train a lot of consultants to do the same work I do. I basically create competition. Could be co-opetition, because we work together in some projects and others we don't. Some we compete, some we collaborate. But today we have 1,200 consultants in 23 countries, and that's the exciting part of living my purpose. Every time somebody calls me, hey, I have a project here, I need help here. Well, let's connect you with another consultant and make that happen, accelerate that upgrade for that specific leader and their specific organization. So with that in mind, we create our vision: a more conscious business ecosystem.
Mm, wow. I love that whole background. And also it sounds like your purpose is much bigger than you, that it's not just for one person. You need a whole team worldwide to be able
Yes.
to create and to manifest this purpose. So can you share with us like one instance of how this conscious capitalism has impacted a business and just what that looks like, a story?
Sure. One of the things we see a lot is that the businesses that intentionally apply this philosophy, they actually generate up to 7 times better results, financial results, when compared to, let's say, Standard and Poor performance. When you look at that performance over 15, 20 years, the companies that intentionally apply those 4 principles have 7 times more value created, financial value created. And that because most of the time, they're not just focused on the financial value, they're developing or creating social value, knowledge, technology, and sharing that with the community where they're surrounded. And what happens is that every time there's a crisis, and we have a couple of crises around the story of humankind, customers, they go and buy first from you. Your company that has a purpose, that cares for the environment, cares for the surrounding communities. Suppliers, when they have ideas, they will bring it first to you. So all that actually leverages a full potential of generating more economical value. So by generating non-financial value all the time, what you're doing is you are planting your future economic value, what you're going to harvest in 5, 10, 15 years forward. So that's the beauty. So how can I describe that? I'm going to pick a government institution, a Department of Transportation. We did a purpose for them, and it was clear. The purpose was to help people to get well to their destination, because everybody who leaves their home driving, cycling, with a bike, with a motorcycle, with a bus, with a train, with an airplane, they want to get well to their destination. So thinking about that, we started innovating about that purpose. What happens when a young kid goes to take the test for driver license? They get there nervous, very tense. And what if we start teaching that kid at 7, when they start learning how to read and write, all the signs, the symbols, the interpretation of the laws in transit, how you circulate, that influenced that kid to get much easier to that assessment, right, for the driver license. And also that will influence their parents. Say, hey, you should not do this. This is not right. This is not correct. So you basically changing 2 generations at once when you have a clear purpose. How powerful is that? So I give an example on financial result and an example of a non-government government organization. And if you think about the NGOs, the most successful NGOs, they have a great leader that inspires people. They actually make sure they generate value for all their stakeholders. They have a strong culture, and of course, they start with a purpose. So that's the beauty of having those 4 principles. Those are principles for conscious organization. And in every single organization, they affect the ecosystem in a different way. And the success really depends on how deep you go into those principles.
Wow. Imagine if every business had a conscious purpose. What would the world look like?
Exactly.
That is just amazing. So what is your purpose for for the conscious capitalism? I'm sure there's a clear like mission statement or.
It is. Conscious capitalism actually exists to elevate humanity through business. What does that mean? The intention is that when we have more businesses with a clear purpose or rescuing their purpose from when they started, we have a chance to actually elevate because we create value as a business. Every human organization since since we lived in caves, the purpose of living in a group in a cave was to protect each other and to survive all the challenges we faced. Now that idea evolved in becoming businesses. And at some point last century, we lost track of the intention of working collectively together. Now what's happening is that we gained so much room in improving human life, and then we create a big, disparity between those who have too much and those that have less. It raises a question: how much is enough? We can accumulate forever, but the question is, how much is enough? Once I understand my enough, I can help others to raise and be more successful or have better, access to all the different services. And ultimately, what we're looking for is a well-being, right? We want to live better than before. And if we look at the previous generation, we all recognize that we today have more access, more knowledge, more education, more, wealth than the previous generation. And this is a natural expression of what business is bringing up, is elevating humanity. The only thing is we need to make sure as leaders, we understand how much is enough. Not accumulating and then giving back. Why don't give back throughout the growth of your business? That makes your business much stronger, much healthier, and much more sustainable in the long run.
I love that. That's beautiful. It sounds like, encouraging people to, instead of consuming, to serve, because really with consuming, it's only our self-interest, and eventually, we're not going to be satisfied. We're not going to be fulfilled. But when we turn that consumerism mindset into a conscious purpose mindset of serving others, then everyone elevates together, and the consciousness is uplifted, and really purpose is a lot clearer for everyone when you're out there serving instead of just consuming.
Yes. And one of the things, consciousness will always expand as we learn more things, right? The more you learn, the more you understand, your consciousness will expand. If you stop learning, you get stuck with the level of consciousness you have. So the importance of continuous education, continuous learning, continuous exchange of knowledge allows us as humanity to elevate the whole system, not just a few of us, but the whole system, because we can't be successful as an island, as a silo, and everything around us just poverty. So if we have, and not everybody wants to have all that wealth, some people say, I'm good with this, I don't need more. Some people will need more, want more, but there has to be a limit to say how much is enough, right? So this is the invitation. Think about yourself and on your purpose and how you live. How much is enough? Do you need 10 homes? You need one? You can share? Because if you think about conscious capitalism, circular economy is an expression of conscious capitalism. The purpose is being more circular, extract less from the environment. There's one leadership, one company that actually leads that change. The culture is to actually look inside, not on the outside, to bring in more resources. And ultimately, all the stakeholders have to be part of that circle. Otherwise, it's not circular economy. So every single idea that pops up as a new economy, as a framework, brings us back to those four principles. If you think about shared economy, the purpose is to share, not to create more assets, but to share all the assets that are already out there. So that takes a leadership, somebody to create something that allows us to share that space. It creates a culture for all the participants. Say, why do I have to have my car, my home, my weekend home. I can share. I can go there, have a room and change next time another one and so on. And so that always, whatever, framework you look forward to actually update the way we do business, they always come back to those four principles. What's the purpose? Why we do what we do? Who are the stakeholders that are involved beyond the value chain, that simplistic view of supplier, company, and customers? Everybody else, the family members of our employees, the surrounding community, so much more is affected by our activity. And then we create a culture where everybody wants to join. It's like an emotional tattoo. So I want to be part of this tribe. I want to celebrate. I want to share. I want to belong to this. And that all starts with leadership. Ultimately, we understand that everybody becomes a leader for their task, their group, their family, their environment, their community, and so on. So this is a size of how much you lead in this process.
That is so beautiful. And I completely agree. It all starts within ourselves. To be a conscious leader to others, we first need to have that growth mindset and that consciousness shift and apply it to ourselves, because that's really the best way we can lead. We can't control how others act, but we can inspire others to be more conscious and to start growing and learning when they see, each one. And you're saying, like, it's a beautiful tribe and a community. When there's a tribe that is doing these amazing things, it inspires. It's a ripple effect. It really inspires so many more people. So I just want to ask a few of the, you've done some amazing books and now you have this amazing company. So if you could give us a little picture of that's, and of course your purpose is going to continue on, but right now what it kind of looks like in a snapshot.
Yeah, okay. So we have an amazing program for consultants, because what we want, we believe that we can only accelerate if more people do the same work as we do. So we have a Conscious Capitalist Consultant certification program. We have a program for CEOs. We have a program for board of directors. And that's all based on what we publish. We have a Conscious Capitalism Field Guide published with the Harvard, Raj Sisodia, and myself, which actually brings up a very practical approach. And now we're just breaking this down in more specific tools. And the latest book is Purpose Canvas for Business. It's a very simple tool so that we allow smaller companies in a very easy and practical way to use Golden Circle, Theory U, Aristotle, and other elements all combined together to actually be able to express their intention. Because the sooner you express the intention of your business, more people start understanding. And the sooner you use that as a guiding rule for governance, because we talk a lot about this ESG movement, but governance without a purpose is just compliance. It's just the same thing as last century. So the only way to change governance is making sure your company has a purpose. So your decisions will be aligned in taking that purpose forward and expanding that impact in society, in the environment, in the area you operate.
Wow, that is so, so amazing. And I just want to honor you and celebrate what your journey has come to. And I'm just excited to see what more is to come, because you're on a conscious rocket going up and taking so many people with you. So I just want to celebrate and honor you for who you are being, to inspire so many others. And I'm just grateful to have you here to share your story today. So thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.